Welcome back to the Crochet Karate with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Today is the women's twisting lace socks, but before you click off, let me show you more about these socks because the name is really quite deceptive. So in today's pattern we're going to do the women's twisting lace socks. Now I've seen this pattern on Yarn Inspirations for years and I've always avoided it because I'm thinking lace, twisting, do I really want all the work? So I decided last night that I was going to put the effort in and actually try the pattern. And what I was so shocked is that there really is no cable work. When I think twisting lace, I think cable work. This is exactly what they look like here. And if you know how to do 2 together double crochet, 3 double crochet in the same one, and then 2 together, that's it. This is twisting lace sock that you see. So what I have here is that this is my version here that I did. It's exactly as written. So what we're going to be doing is discovering the toe, going up. We're going to do the heel and then we're gonna go straight up and we're gonna talk about crochet hook size, what you need to know, and etc. And there's also different sizes in this pattern for 5 to 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10. There we go. So this is gonna be how we're gonna be doing it today. So without further ado, let me show you the kind of the diagram of the socks, what we're gonna be doing today, and then I'll take you back here. So here's my crude diagram, and what we're going to be doing is starting right at the toe, and we're going to be going in a round circle and we're going to be expanding outward, and it looks like this at the end of the toe as it works its way out. So from the very beginning, so this is the tip of your foot and it's going to be expanding. So the expansion actually happens up here, 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 and here, and in between it just stays a certain amount of count. Counting, especially on the toe area, is so important for you to keep in balance. So when you're thinking of the different sizes, so if you did the 5 and 6 you wouldn't be going as far. You did if you did the 7 and 8 you go a little further, and then if you did the 9 and 10 then you go all the way. So where you stop will dictate the diameter of your socks. Once you get that done, it's a straight shot back on the instep until you get to the heel. In the heel area what happens is that we start decreasing to create this shape, and then what we do is we start increasing, but as we increase we attach down onto this, so it creates the fold that you see in the side of the socks. Once you get that done, it's then a straight shot up to the cuff, and then the cuff that is done. So really when you're thinking about the sizes that we have, is that really the toe diameter matters. The distance back for where this all starts is a distance that we'll be talking about, and then what we have is then we have the height going up and then the cuff. So you will need a tape measure today in order to play, and what I'm gonna do is take you back to the pattern and let's tell you a little bit about that. So like most of the diagrams available on yarnspirations.com is that they have them color coded to the different sizes, so that you see ladies small is in this color, medium this, and lady large is this color. So when you're working through things and there's a decision to be made on a certain size, you will see that there's a set of instruction that will match the size that you're working with. So for example, rounds 1 through 7 is the same for everybody, but then 5 and 6 you're going to do this set of instruction, right? So there you go. So then you see that there's 7th round, here's the 8th round only for 5 and 6, but I'm gonna be doing the 9 and 10 with you, or sorry, 7 and 8 with you on camera today, but 7 and 8, 9 and 10 you're going to do this set of instructions, and then if you're continuing on then to 9 and 10 you'll continue here. My point being is that the smaller the socks, the less work that you have to do, clearly. Once you get this set of instructions done, you just jump down all sizes, then we pick up and then we start doing the next set of instructions, then going all the way back. So down here you'll notice that there is different sizes. So it says repeat from such and such, right? 5, 6, or 7 times. So guess you're picking the right color that matches the sizes that you're going to be working with. Once you get all this done, and we will do this on camera today, is that you will repeat the pattern until that it's either 5 3/4, 6 3/4, or 7 3/4. Again, you choose the size. So when you're looking at anything that requires information where it's different, for example, you'll all have different sizes of heels when we go to do that. So we're gonna be seeing that information pop up, and again we choose the number that corresponds. So what we're going to be doing today is that we are going to be working on the 7 and 8. We're going to be using a 3.25 size USD crochet hook, but I want to tell you something about that before we begin. So on camera this is supposed to be size 7 and 8, and what I'm going to be doing with you today is that I'm going to be taking you through. So I did not have the same size crochet hook, so I bumped myself up to a 3.5 millimeter size F crochet hook. Remember, this asks for a D. This sock here does not match the size because I changed the size of the hook. So in actual fact this sock here is actually even bigger than it should be because of the size of the hook that I used. We're also going to be using Crochet socks today, FX. So you'll notice that the colors are transitioning quite beautifully throughout. I didn't change anything special in the heel. That's the way the color came out and what we're going to be doing. I've just wrapped this into a cake just for my own ease, and then off camera it will be sitting in a yarn bowl and then just popping out the hole like so. So I did that for myself. So let's test yourself. Let's get ourselves started. Remember, just substitute any information if you're doing a different size than I am on camera, because I can't do all sizes, but I'm gonna show you the 7 and 8. Here we go. Let's go. So let's begin. We're doing all sizes up till number 7. So we're going to be starting with our first one, and we're going to be creating a slip knot. And I'm going to assume that you know how to crochet, so I'm not gonna cover the basics of crochet today. So we need to chain a total of 15. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So now let's begin round number 1. Going second chain from the hook, so count it back, so 1 and 2. Just start single crocheting in the back hump of the chain, and I want you to do a total count of 14. So it's important that you count. So let's just count those. So 1, 2, and 3, and put me on pause and get yourself to the end of the chain. You should have a total of 14. So we're currently at 3. So coming up to the last one, this is the 14th one. So what I need you to do, we're not gonna turn our work like as in going back the other direction. I simply want you to turn this around and coming into the same one that you were just in and crochet into that one again. So from the underside, okay, so just leaving this straggler down on top, and I want you to crochet 14 back. So let's say 1 and keep moving along the other side. 2, 3, and go all the way to the other side. You should be at 14. See me there in just a moment. So I'm coming, and I'm currently going into number 13, and 14 is the last one available, and what I need you to do is slip stitch yourself to the very first one right here. Just turn it and just slip stitch into the first single crochet. So you should have a total count of 28 if you want to double count. If you did the 14 across, 14 on the other side, you're good to go. If you buried this tail in kind of how I was showing you, then just snip it, get rid of it, and you're good to go. Let's begin round number 2. So as we begin to do round number 2, what's gonna happen is that we are going to be doing a steady increase. So as we start off, we're gonna do an increase right away, and then we count a certain amount, and then we increase. We do one by itself and then an increase, and then we come back across and increase, and then that's it. You've just come all the way around. So every time we're doing an increase, just know that you have 4 spots on the top of the toe, or in the tip of the toe, that's actually being increased. Let's begin round number 2. Let's begin round number 2. We're going to chain up 1, and we are going to put in 1 single crochet in the first one, and then the next one is gonna have 2 single crochets in it, and the instructions tell us that there is going to be 1 single crochet in each of the next 11. I'm gonna take you around the first round first. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. You're 11 in, and it says to you after you get your 11 done is put 2 single crochets into the next one, and then the pattern says to repeat once again. So what they're asking you to do is start over in that line. So the next one is going to be 1 single crochet, and then the next one after that is 2 single crochets into the same one, and then you're going to go 11 back again. So you're just coming back around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then following with the set of instructions, it says that you're putting in 2 single crochets into the same one at the end of the repeat pattern. And then once you have that done, is that you are just going to join it to the top of the first single crochet. Counting is so important, and when you do that, pull it nice and tight so that you don't end up with any gaps. Let's now move on to round number 3. So round number 3, I'm going to move myself all the way around, so chaining of 1, and it's 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Now I'm not worried about counting too much. I'm going to be counting in the next round, because the next round we're going to do another increase. So what's happened in this pattern is that you start off and you start increasing, but the next round after it usually is like a round that's going to allow it to relax out, to grow. So it gives it a round to be able to relax and enjoy expanding, and then it will expand once again. So 1 single crochet in each all the way around for round number 3. So at the end of round number 3, I'm just going to join it to the first single crochet, pull it nice and tight. So give it a good pull. So you're not going to see a bowling shape happen. Just push it so that the bottom is kind of coming out like this. Let's go to number 4. So I'm going to, because this is not a beginner pattern, I'm just going to explain and then we're going to do. So we're going to chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in the first one, and then 2 into the next one. So listen to my words. I want you then is to single crochet the next 13, and then there will be 2 into the next, and then you're going to repeat that again. So 1 single crochet, 2 into the next, 13 down the bottom side, and then just put 2 into the last one and then join it. Keep an eye on your counts, and good luck with that, and I'll see you at the end of round number 4. So just 13 across. Just finishing up number 4, I have the last 2 single crochets into the same one, and now I'm going to join it to the top of the first single crochet. If you're losing your counts, these rows that you're doing the expansion are the ones that you'll be able to get you back on track, being able to fake it if you really have to. So let's do round number 5. It's the same as round 3, and if I could just get my yarn in my hands, that'd be awesome. And you're gonna chain up 1 and just expand it out. So just 1 single crochet in each, so you're letting the stitches relax. So number 5 is 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way around. So it's an easy round, number 5. So I've come up all the way around on the end of number 5, and I'm just going to join it to the first single crochet. So let's begin number 6, and still all sizes are still involved, and you can see that it's growing outward, and you can see that in your hands too. So let's begin round number 6. So this is an expansion round, so just chain up 1 single crochet in the first, and then you're gonna put 2 into the next. So 1 and 2. So listen to my words. You are now going to put 15 single crochets in a row, and then 2 into the next, and then 1 single in the next, and then you're still repeating your pattern. So then 2 into the next, and then 15 all the way back, and in the last stitch you will put 2 single crochets into that one. So please do that. The answer is number 15 stitches in between. So please do that all the way around. So I come all the way around to number 6. The last stitch is 2 singles into the same one, and I'm just joining it to the first single crochet. So this is number 7 that we're about to go to. It's just 1 single crochet in each. So just go around, just chain up 1 single crochet around in each for number 7. This will be the last time the round is for all sizes, and then it starts dividing off depending on the size that you're making. 1 single crochet in each all the way around. So I'm coming all the way to the end of round number 7. So we're gonna go back to the pattern now. Let's see where we are. You can see the tip of the toe, because now we're gonna take a detour depending on the size that you're working on. So we now just finished up round number 7. So what's gonna happen now is that for the 5 and 6 you're going to do this set of instruction. So you're going to be expanding again, and it's the same instruction, and this time it's going to be 19 for single crochets going. Now for the other people that we have is that we are going to go for 7 and 8 that we are. So 7 and 8 is the size that I'm gonna be concentrating on. I'm gonna be doing these 3 sets of instructions. Now if you're continuing on then for 9 and 10, you will then continue then into these set of instructions, and then all of us no matter what size will end up over here, all sizes, and then we're going to start that lacy stuff that you can see in the pattern. So once your 5 and 6 are done, just jump down. We're gonna do 7 and 8 on camera, then jump down, and 9 and 10, I expect you to get that done if you wish, and can get that down there. So let's continue then. 7 and 8, 9 and 10 sizes for 8th round next. So for 7 and 8, 9 and 10, you are going to chain up 1 and do 1 single crochet in the first one, and listen to my words because I'm gonna tell you what to do. So you're gonna do 2 single crochets into the next one. Then this time is 17 single crochets across, then 2 into the next, 1 single crochet into the next one after that, 2 into the next one, and then 17 single crochets coming back around, and finish off with 2 single crochets into the same. Please do this now for round number 8, and we're gonna continue. So keep an eye on those counts and make sure you're counting along the way. The answer is 17. So I'm just finishing up round number 8, and I'm just going to slip stitch to the first single crochet, and round number 9 simple. Chain up 1, and then it's just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. So just 1 single crochet in each all the way around. I'll see you at the end of this round. Coming up all the way around for round number 9, we're just going to join. Now round number 10, we're carrying on. We're gonna increase one more time for the 7 and 8, and then that's it. So we're going to just chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in the first one, and then the next one has 2. So listen to my instructions. So the next, what do we have here? The next 19 in a row will each be a single crochet, then 2 into the next, 1 single crochet in the next one after that, 2 into the next one after that, and then 19 all the way back, and finish off with 2 single crochets in the last stitch. Please do that now for round number 10. This is the final round of the growth before moving on for the rest of the sizes. So the answer is 19. At the end of round number 10, the final stitch is 2 single crochets in there, and then we join. So if you're moving on now to the 9/10 size, continue on in the pattern, but for the rest of us we are now going to move on for all sizes, continuing on. So there is the toe of your foot. So there you go. So let's move on to all sizes, and let's begin. So as we begin all sizes, what's gonna happen is now we're going to transfer into these double crochets. So it's going to go pretty quickly going back on the instep until we get to a certain amount of inches. Then you can see that the heel then will start. So if this is your second one, I would count the amount of rows that you did so that you make sure that you do match it, but the first time you want to get to your certain amount of inches, and we'll cover that in a moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to establish this spacing that you see, and no matter what size you worked on, the spacing will work out and it's good to go. So let's begin round number 1, all sizes. So we're now going to establish that cable look. So we're going to chain up 3, and then we're going to make a double crochet into the very next stitch. This is going to be included as being called as 2 double crochet together. It's the beginning 2 double crochet together. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it does. The next stitch is going to be 3 double crochets into the same stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. Then the next 2 stitches are each gonna be 2 double crochet together. So just wrap in the hook, next stitch, pull through 2 and hold it, and then come to the next one, wrap, going in, pull through 2 and hold it, and then pull through all 3 loops. I'm gonna show this again. So then you chain 1, skip 1, and begin all over again. So the first 2 is 2 double crochet together, like that. The next one is 3 doubles into the same one. 1, 2, and 3. And then the next 2 are together. That's all this cable lacing is, or this lacing look is just that. So chain 1, I'll show you one more time. So skip 1, put the first 2 together, put 3 double crochet into the next one, put the last 2 together before moving on, then chain 1. So the amount of times you have to do that is based on the size that you're working on. So you will see it says repeat 5, 7, or 5, 6, or 7 more times. It's based on the size. So continue that same idea going all the way around to see at the end of this round, round number 1, all sizes. So I'm coming up all the way back around. This is my last set that I'm doing in. So I've considered each one of the grouping as of 5 that you see. Well, it's more than 5, but the way that it's grouping together, I just consider that like a group. Okay, chain 1, and then you're going to join it to the top of what appears to be the second double crochet. That's considered the top of the first one, like so. If this is your second one, I want you to lay it down and just get your other one and just verify that you have the same amount of gapping spaces that you have on the first one, and if it's your first one, just keep running with it and you're good to go. We're now going to begin second round and all sizes are the same. This time what's gonna happen is that we're now going to repeat the following step until you get to either 5 3/4, 6 3/4, or 7 3/4 from the tip of the toe. So you want to measure then the whole thing from the tip all the way to the next section. If this is your second sock, just make sure that you measure where I would count the number of rows that you're doing so that you can be able to match that. To start off, you're going to chain 3, counts as a double crochet, or counts as 2 double crochet together. So the next one you were just going to put it together. So just a double crochet. I know I'm not making any sense, but chain 3, double crochet in the next. Those that count as 2 together. How's that? Okay, so the next one is 3 double crochets together. Notice that it's in the middle one of the grouping of 3. So this is gonna be 3 double crochets into the same one. And then the next final 2 that you see is 2 together. I think I'm starting to calm down now. Okay, so chain 1 and start again. So the very first 2 are come together. Okay, the next one is the middle one. There's gonna be 3 double crochets in that one. And then the final 2 of that same group comes together. 2 double crochet together using those final 2. Chain 1 and move on. So do that all the way around then for a second round, and then you're gonna repeat this round until you get to the size that you need. So I will see you back here in just a moment and we'll refresh, and then I'll do the rest off camera, and I'll see you at the end of the heel, or at the start of the heel. So I'm just completing round number 2. Don't forget to chain 1 first and then join it to what appears to be is the second double crochet in. So I want you to repeat what you just learned now until you get to the back part of the heel area. So it's either 5 3/4, 6 3/4, or 7 3/4. To begin again, just chain up 3, and in the next one just double crochet, so that is included in your 2 together for that. And then the next one is 3 double crochet into the same one. It's like a shell. And then the next 2, which is the final of the group, is going to get 2 together. So please complete this pattern now until you get to the size dimension that you need, and if it's your second one, just verify with the first one that you're getting the same size. I'll see you at that moment in time, and then I will get this done here off camera, and just sit here patiently doing it. So on camera now is my example done. I've got my amount of inches that I needed, and you can find that information. So right where I finished here is that we are going to just make sure that we fasten off. So we're just going to just pull through, and I'm just going to trim this yarn, and we're going to start a new section of this. This is gonna be the heel area, so just pull that through. And what I would do then is just weave this in and out of some of the stitch work, and then because it's a sock, you're going to want to use a tapestry needle to hide in the loose ends. So the goal now is to make the heel. But before we begin to do that, I'm just gonna put this on the inside and worry about it later. So what I want to do is right where I finished off, see how that you can see that there is the side, okay? See how it's kind of open and you have these open spaces. So I want you to put 1 stitch marker into the side right where you finished off, and laying it flat. So just lay it down flat here. Just kind of rotate it if you have to, and then get the other side that's right here and put in another stitch marker over there. These will help you later on when you're finishing off the heel to know where to restart back up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you to the instructions that are right below this sample, and then we are going to just examine where we are and then what our goals are and some tips too. So as we begin the heel, you're going to notice that there's different sizes. So it says single crochet in each of the next 21, 24, or 27. Choose the size based on your color that you've been working with, and you're going to work your way up into row number 3. After row number 3 it says repeat the third row 12, 13 or 14 more times. So because I'm going for the middle size here, up over here I put the numbers 1 through 13. So as I repeat row number 3 for the set amount of times, I will check it off. Just as a sample here is that this is not the copy that I worked with last night. You can see all of my check marks that I've been working on in the other one. So what our goal today is to get you started now into these heels. After we get it 13 more times, then we come back here and do the final 2 rows, and that's basically the same for all of these that we're going to be seeing. So our goal now is that we are going to do the lower part of the heel, and in the lower part of the heel we are going to be eliminating out stitches. So as we look at it here, we've now worked our way across, so we are going to then be working and getting more narrow, and then the upper part of the heel is when we're going to expand back and then join it. Let's begin the lower heel now. So what we want to do is that we need to join new yarn on. So it could be a different color. If you wish your heel to be a different color, this is where you would do it. And I want you to join it on right where the stitch marker is here, and we need to do a certain amount of stitches going across. Now in your case what we have is that it's either going to be 21, 24, 27 based on the size. So attach it, chain 1, and single crochet in every stitch, including the chain 1 spaces that you'll run into. So you'll need to get yourself to 24. If, and this is only if, that your stitch count is not working out to be proper, just try to get it close to the number as possible, and if you have to fake it or do something, then that's your opportunity to do so. So try to get to the number, but if not, it's not a deal breaker. I don't want you to frog everything just because you're not hitting the right number for the heel. So fake it if you have to. So it's either 21, 24, or 27. So once you get your set number, in my case it is 24, stop, turn your project, and let's now start row number 2. Row number 2, we are just going to chain up 1, and we are going to then put in 1 single crochet in each of the stitches all the way across for row number 2. Please do that, row number 2. So let's begin third row. Turn your work. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it once, and then we have to repeat it either 12, 13, or 14 more times. So you're going to always start off and chain 1, and you're going to put in 1 single crochet in each all the way across, except for the very final 2 is that you are going to put the final 2 together as 2 together single crochets. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. We're gonna get there. So what we're doing is that we're decreasing on one side as we go this way, and then as we go the other way we're gonna decrease on the end of the other side when we get there. So this is row number 3, and it will get faster and faster as you're eliminating out stitches as you're going across. The trick is to identify when you're at the end of the row. Chances are if you're watching today's tutorial though, you are skilled with your stuff. So you got 2 stitches left, put those together. So put it in, pull through, next one, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, pull through. So you're just gonna turn your work and then immediately start. So this is gonna be the one of the repeats that you're gonna do. In my case it's 1 of 13. So chain up 1, 1 single crochet in each except for the very final 2, which I'll get there in just a moment, and you will put the final 2 together. So what I want you to do is do all of that and then just use your check sheet and get that done. And when we come back then I will have that section done. It doesn't take a lot of time. The trick is the upper heel. If anything that you're gonna screw up today, it's gonna be the upper heel. I had to do it twice when I did mine, but because I learned my lessons the first time through. I think for the first sock that you may struggle a little bit, but then the second one I think you'll breeze through it too. So when you come back all the way across, the final 2 are together. Put them together and then check that off on your list. So that's one of either 12 13 or 14. Please do that and you're going to notice it start to decrease, and I'll see you at the end of that section. So I've just completed this section. As I promised you, it would be going in just like you see. So it tells you at the end of this repeat that there will be 8, 10 or 12 single crochets. In my case there's 10. So now we're going to continue now into this row here, and what we're going to do is next row, and it says to do single crochet 2 together. So we're doing the very back end of the heel. So chain up 1, and it says to do 2 single crochets together, and it says to do it a set number of times. In my case it's 5. You could have 4 or 6. So that was 1, and this is 2, 3, 4 and 5. So once you have all your 5 done, you could have 4 or 6 done depending. I want you to slip stitch into the end of the previous row. So coming down, so just going right up over and coming down and slip and pulling it down. So we're now beginning to start picking up this edging, and we'll be doing that as we continue along. Let's do the final row. Let's turn our work, and we are going to start our final then of the lower heel. So it says miss the slip stitch, which I just did, and 2 single crochets in each of the ones. So the 5 that you did together are each going to have 2 single crochets into it. One thing I need you to let you know, keep things nice and tight here. You'll regret it if you don't. And actually my yarn's on the wrong side here. Okay, so notice that I never said to chain 1 first. So you're gonna put 2 single crochets in each of the ones that had together at the top. So in my case there will be 5 groups of 2. So that was 2 groups, 3 groups, 4, and this is the last one. And as we finish it now, you are then gonna come to the previous row, so coming down, so fall down over the edge and slip stitch and pull that things nice and tight and turn. You're going to notice that it's gonna start folding in. That's exactly what you're looking for. Let's go to the upper heel next, and let's begin, and let's go back to the pattern first. So we're now about to start the upper heel. So we're gonna start off on our instructions. Just keep an eye on these special numbers that matches your size. And after we do row number 2, in row number 3 all the way to either 13 or the 15th row will be the same instruction. So I'm going to show you how we're gonna fall over the edge and then literally gaining stitches as we continue to gather. So what I did over here is that I just put my row numbers, so 3 all the way to 15. I also took into account the number of stitches. It's important that you match your socks. So after this one here in row number 2, it said that there was a certain amount of stitches that we have. So in my case there's number 13. So actually in fact I'm off by 1. So I'm just going to just switch this one out and just continue to go like this. It's an afterthought of course. And just continue to do that and just kind of match the stitches as you go. It's better to keep an eye on the count. So let's begin the upper heel. We're going to just not chain chain one at all. We've slip stitched to get ourselves down to where we are, so we immediately just skip over that, and we miss the slip stitch and 1 single crochet in each all the way across. So the goal is that in my case it said there should be 12 stitches going across. So I want to make sure I'm counting 12. So I want to keep my yarn pretty tight here. This is a heel area. So I need to get a total of 12. But here's the thing, you should only get for 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm following it over, 9 and 10 and 11. And then after you get your 11 in, the next 2 that are down the side is gonna become 2 together. And then slip stitch the next one in, the next row down, and then turn. Okay, so you're working your way down. So I told you before that I actually had to do this twice. What was happening is that I wasn't going far enough down the heel, so when I was actually done and got my stitch counts I was early. So my goal is to get myself all the way back to the pointing areas here, like where joints, so I can go in a continuous circle. After you get this row done, you just turn your work. So that was row number 1. You missed the slip stitch and just start in the first one, and this time it's number 2. There will be a total of 13 in a row, so just count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's where the slip stitch was before. So the next two rows are going to become together. That gives you your 13, and then you slip stitch into the next one and turn. So now rows number 3 all the way to 15 for me is going to be the same. I'm just going to keep an eye on those counts. So in the next one that we have is that row number 4 will have 14. So just skip the slip stitch, go and do then 14 in a row. So, and then just when you get to your 13, just make sure the next 2 are together. So you want to keep an eye on your counts, and I'm going to leave that with you. Just make sure that you keep gathering and working your way down the sides. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and we'll see you at the end of this section. So I've completed the actual instruction here, and I've just been following it back and forth, and all I want to do now is that I want to then do the next 2 rows. So to do the next 2 rows for the 7 and 8 is that we are just going to continue, and we are going to finally join the last section together. So it'll be the last stitches here and here in order to complete it. So what you're going to do is complete the last 2 as you normally have been doing. So just one single crochet in each. The last 2 come together like you already know it. But I don't want you to slip stitch beyond that one. So I want you to just turn after you get that done, and then we're gonna do then the final row then. Please do that across, and then meet me back here in just a moment. So I'm coming across, and the last 2 are gonna come together, what we've already know, and then just attach it. This is kind of where we started, and then we just turn, chain up 1, and then what we're going to do then is then just continue back and doing 1 single crochet, and then the last 2 will become 2 together, and then that'll complete off doing the upper part of this heel. So let's get there, and I'll see you there in a moment. Coming back around, and I'm just coming into the last section here, and we're joining the last 2. So right where the stitch marker is. Let's try it again. So just coming into the last one here, and right where the stitch marker is, and let's just join those. And now it says to fasten off, but because I'm on the right side now, I'm not going to fasten off. I'm just going to keep where I am. This is when you can eliminate out those stitch markers, because now we're going to reestablish the pattern of doing the lacy work again. And what we're going to do is we're going to include the back of the heel as well, and going around. So this is going to maintain, and just like we started off in the toe when we started it, we're going to be doing the same with the back. So let's begin to do that next. So we're gonna make our way around now, and we are going to start off, and we're going to begin. So what I would like you to do is just slip stitch in the space first to get ourselves to where we need to be, and then chain up 3. Because I didn't fasten off, I just slip stitch, and double crochet the second one in, or sorry, the second one of the 3. Do you see that? There's 3 of those. Do the first one, sorry, and just double crochet that. So that is your 2 together, and then you're gonna put in your 3 double crochets in the middle one like you had been before. So the top part of the instep area is going to be exactly what you already know. You're just following the pattern. So in the pattern it looks like it's kind of seamless, doesn't it? So chain 1 and just continue to go. So it looks like it's kind of seamless, but in actual fact it's separated by that heel area there. So what I want to do is that I want to get you around to this section here. I will show you how to cheat the system just in case you need to, and we're going to continue from that point. So as we're coming back around and we're doing the last section, of this, and then we're gonna start jumping into this heel area. So chaining up 1 and we jump immediately to the heel, and then we start again. So we're gonna put the first 2 together like we had been before, as if it was the toe area. Then the next one gets 3 double crochets. So 1, 2. So what I'm noticing here, this is something I'm noticed. This gap seems a little too big to me, so what I'm gonna do, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cheat the system a little bit. And you know what, sometimes these tutorials are awesome because they can show you different things that, you know, people like me would do. So what I would do if it were me is that I would kind of bring things more together. So the last 2 are come together like they're supposed to, but I'm going to add in 1 more down here. It's gonna be 3 together instead, and then chain 1, and that will close off that gap a little bit better. Then we immediately start in the heel and we bring the first 2 together. I know I'm completely cheating, but if you don't cheat on sometimes it doesn't work. I'm all for being honest, but sometimes it's just a hobby. It should be good, and therefore it looks more closed in by just improvising. So you maintain the pattern as you know it. So the next 2 are together, chain 1 and then skip 1 and put the first 2 together. So if your counts are all off if your counts are off at all, this is when you're going to self-correct, because you got to get yourself back into this lace look, and it's really easy to be able to fake it in order to get yourself back there too. I'm almost around. I can feel it with my fingers. So I'm just maintaining. So sometimes you just throw in an extra stitch as long as it doesn't impact the stitch counts at all. So because I put in 3 together into that one section, the top is still just 1 stitch, if that makes any sense to you. Chain 1. So this is the last section, so this, because it appears here, so just I'm gonna see if I'm actually right. I should be, but I wasn't excessively counting it near the end because I've been crocheting a long time that I can trust myself. And put the final 2 together, and I just happen to be getting it right. Now if you had an extra stitch or something, you could just do the 3 together like I showed you in the cheating over here, and just to kind of bring them together and then do that. And if you didn't have enough space, then what I would do is then instead of just doing 2 together here, you could just do 1 and get away with it as well. So let's just slip stitch to the top of the first one. So now we're going to maintain the pattern as we already know it, starting up chaining a 3 and put in the next one with it. So that's a double crochet, so that counts as 2 together, and then just continue to go around. So what we need to do is that we need to get to the total height of the section, okay, that we're gonna get. So what we're going to do is that we are going to go how many inches? I'll be right back in just a second. I just want to make sure. Oh, it's 5, 5.5 or 6. So right where it's marked, okay, so right where we start is where you're gonna start the count. So when I look at the other one here, let me just back up the camera a little bit. It is a total of, for me, it was a total of 5.5 inches to get there. So if this is the second one, all you're just going to do is just put them with each other, and then just make sure you do the same amount of rows. So all you're going to do is go around like you already know. You've already got it established on the back, and you should be good to go. So get the height done, and then I'll see you at the top of the cuff next. So I've now just worked myself up the leg here, and we've gone past the ankles and etc. So I counted from the back heel area. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This was the distance that it suggested, and then for the second one I made sure I did 11 as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We're not going to fasten off. We're now going to start, and we're now going to work on the cuff, and the cuff is pretty simple. Let's get started on doing that. So you're above here right where 2 are together. That's where we stopped. So that's where we joined. So we're gonna chain up 1 and we're gonna single crochet into that one. Then chain 1, skip the next one, go to the middle one of the grouping of 3, single crochet, chain 1, skip one and go to the last one. So it basically covers over top of these groups. Chain one, skip the space and come into the first one here. Chain one, go to the middle one of the grouping of 3, chain one, and then come into the last one. So you see how you're skipping? So do that all the way around for this round. So I'm coming up all the way back around to where it started and just maintaining. So now the next row is really quite easy. We're now gonna fill in some space. So let's just finish this one, chain one and join to the first single crochet. So we have to get ourselves established, and we're gonna do some ribbing that is going to get established in this round. If I could just get my act together here. I've dropped one of my plies here, of course. And let me just pull up on it. You know what? This happens to the best of us. And you can get mad, or you can just work your way through the process. So let's try joining it one more time. See if the second time is the charm, and it is. So let's begin to do the next section. So we're going to chain 2, does not count as anything, and in the same one I want you to half double crochet. Just like that. So just half double crochet. Then I want you in the next one, the one that we skipped over, is that we are going to go into this single crochet that is second down. So this is the chain 1 space. We're gonna come into this one right here. Okay, so we're gonna double crochet and just go right into it, and it will go over top of the existing one and double crochet. So the next one we come back up and we do the next one, half double crochet, and then the next one we jump back down and catch the one 2 rows below for a double crochet, and then the one above, half, and now you're into the space. So come right down into the spacing that you see right here, right where I'm wiggling my thumb, and just go and do a double crochet into that whole thing. Then jump to the next one, half, and then double by jumping down. Please do that same thing all the way around, second round for the cuff. So as I come all the way back around, the last stitch is going to be down into the space for a double crochet, and you're going to join it to the top of the first half double crochet. We're now going to continue for the cuff, and the cuff is the same now for every until it gets about 2 inches. Again, just compare the two if you've got 2 and you want to make sure they're the same size. You're going to chain up 2, and in the same one you're going to half double crochet. So now we're going to create double crochet front post. So what you're going to do then is that here that we have is going to be wrapping around the hook and coming into the side. So this is the double crochet that jumps down, and make it a double crochet front post. The next one is a half double crochet, keep it as a half double crochet. The next one is a front post double crochet, coming back in to the other one that's double crochet down. Do you see that? Hopefully you can see it. And then the next one's half, and then the next one's front post double, and I want you to do that same idea going all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. As I come back around, the last stitch is a front post double crochet, and then you just join it to the first half double crochet. So you're going to maintain exactly what you just did, and you're going to get to a total height of about 2 inches tall that you can see on the other example here. I'm not sure. I think I have a tail hanging out there. So what I want to do is that I want to just make sure that I get my 2 inches tall. So just to recap, as you're going around, then you just immediately just chain up 2, doesn't count as anything, half double crochet in the first one that you did, and then the round with the front post double crochet there, just make it as a front post double crochet again. The next one is a half, and etc. Do you get it? Hopefully so. So continue to that until you get to about 2 inches tall, and then that's it for your project. There is nothing else to do from that, and I'll see you there in just a moment. So once you get your 2 inches, and then if you have 2 you want to verify that they are the same, then that's it. Your project is now done. So we're going to just trim this final yarn, and we're going to pull it through the loop and then tug on it. We're going to take this strand now, because it is socks and you are going to be putting them on and off. You want to take care of your loose ends as good as you can, and if you just glide it through, so just turn it over and get the back side of the cuff and just gliding it through the stitch work here on the underside. Don't let it hit the front side of the project. So go once, go twice, any loose ends that you had on this, I'd recommend this particular way of doing it. I've been doing it as I've been going. And then that's it. You can safely now trim it down into the project. You can try it on and see what you think. Because I've already tried on the first pair is more stretched out for me, and this is now my second pair, and I'm really, or second half, and now I technically have a pair. So until next time, it's Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Please enjoy your new socks, and until next time, have a good one. Bye bye.